We're here with football head coach Shane Richardson, putting the icing on a very active recruiting season for UNCP. Coach, you signed 23 kids today, including 2 transfers. Break down the positions: 5 offensive linemen, 4 each running back, defensive line, defensive back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, a linebacker, and a kicker. First, let's talk about your thoughts on the class as a whole and what your targets were heading into the recruiting season.
Well, as a class as a whole, I feel like it's a very explosive class. It's definitely a very well-rounded class. Very excited about the guys that we have on that list. I feel like there's a few guys in there that are going to be definite game changers and guys that are going to be very dynamic for us. Whether that's next year or not, I don't know, but down the line, I think they've got all a great future ahead of them. Really wanted to target offensive line. We felt like we've needed some depth at that position, and we did that. Felt like we really brought in some quality offensive linemen. DB was another position that we really wanted to address. Felt like we got really 3 really good DBs there. Of course, defensive line as well. The running back position, of course, that brings great depth with it. You know, I feel like those guys are going to be pretty dynamic and add a lot of great competition to what we have going at that position. So very pleased with this class overall.
Well, without throwing out names right now, we're going to break down. You signed some local kids, local to UNCP. 3 from Scotland, 3 from Jack Britt, 1 from Lumberton, 1 from Richmond County, 1 from E.E. Smith. You got to be pretty happy with the way you targeted at least the immediate area around Pembroke.
Extremely happy. We go into the recruiting season, and what we try to do is we try to draw a line around our campus of about an hour and 15 minutes outside, and we want to try to blanket every high school within that area. And if there's a guy that can fit into what we look for from a character, academic, and obviously a football standpoint, then we want to give them an opportunity to be able to come to UNCP and be a part of the program. And we felt like we really did that this year, and those guys are a good testament to that.
Let's break down your class a little bit. This is the time where you throw out names as you think of them. 5 offensive linemen, one of your targets going in. Talk about your offensive line crop.
Yeah, those 5 guys, we feel like a couple of them have the chance to play early. Really, we feel like there's 2 tackles in the group, and then with the other 2 high school kids, there's 2 inside guys, and then the JC guy, Vincent Thorpe. We really want to expect that he would come in and contribute right away pretty early on. And so feel like they kind of, you know, are a great mix of what we need across the board. We think that they can come in and add immediate depth. We're looking forward to getting those guys in the mix and just seeing what they can do. They're big bodies, really good players, and what they've shown on film is very exciting.
Well, that's you got some pretty talented guys coming back. You targeted defensive line. You signed 4 of them.
Yep.
Talk about that crop.
Yeah, the defensive line group, those guys really, we've got 1 guy that we signed at all 4 of the different positions at our defensive line. And so, of course, you got to see how they're going to pan out and see if they'll grow into something else and see how that'll shake out. But the 2 defensive ends, they're going to be very different. One of them is a very big guy, Sam Campbell, and then the other guy is a very speedy, fast pass rushing type of guy, Tajay Lyles. And then the 2 inside guys, Nate London is going to be very physical and a guy that is able to cause a lot of problems in there. And then Tyler Thomas will be a great addition to just having some more size and athleticism in there as well.
Now, your offensive and defensive backfield signed 4 defensive backs, 4 running backs. Talk about those guys.
Yep, the DBs, they are guys that we feel like they got on campus. We've been with them the whole time, but they got on campus, and when they were here for the official visits, felt like they really became more of a fit for our program once we got to really dive into them and get them around our players, and we just looked at those guys and thought they're slam dunks for us. And so Sean Everett out of Richmond County, feel very good about him and what he can bring to the table. Just an all-around well-rounded player. Jonas Johnson from Jack Britt, He's going to be very dynamic, just a physical, tough player. Those guys will have opportunities to play early, and then of course Bikembe Kearney from Rocky Mount. He'll bring a very good nature to the back end as well, and so feel very good about the DBs there.
Okay, let's go to 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers in this class. Obviously needed some help there as well.
Absolutely. Tight end wise, we feel like we want to be able to line up with a tight end. This year we just had some issues at that position. Really wanted to address that. We did in both Jacob Wright and Zach Bunn. And so Jacob Wright is going to be a more physical presence, and then Zach Bunn is going to be a little bit more of an athletic guy who we might be able to move around a little bit, maybe flex him out, do some different things with him. He'll eventually grow into his body a little bit better, but those 2 guys are very, very exciting at that position. And then also going along with that, Robert Beecham from Scotland County, he was kind of a hybrid tight end guy, but we're going to look at him as a fullback type guy, so he'll be fitting right in with that mix there. And really, we recruited all 3 of those guys to have just more of a physical, tough, gritty presence in our running game, and being able to line up with those guys and put some bodies on some people.
Now, you being a linebacker coach yourself, just signed 1 linebacker. Mm-hmm. You also addressed a need that UNCP has at kicker. Talk about the 2 guys you signed in those 2 positions.
Yeah, so Cody Garner, the linebacker, I've had him in camp the past 2 years and worked with him individually specifically as a linebacker, and couldn't feel more good about just the presence that he has, the intangibles that he brings to the table, and he's an extremely bright young man. Extremely smart, and he's been just a guy that has shown that he's all in, has been very even loyal to our program even when he hasn't signed here today. Even working up to this point, he's been extremely interested in us, and I've always felt a great connection with him, and so I'm very excited about him. The kicker, Ben Utter from Scotland County, very excited about the strength that he has in his leg, that he can come and really give us a great presence in the kicking game. And so looking forward to him being able to maybe do both as far as kicking, kickoffs, place kicking, as well as punts. But we'll see how that shakes out, of course. But he certainly has the leg strength, and just a great kid who comes from a good family too.
Now, you've been in this business, especially at UNCP, a while. When you had your official visit weekends, what were the kids most impressed with at UNCP?
Well, I think they came, and of course our campus is beautiful, and we definitely have a product to sell with that. The facility is beautiful as well, and I would put it up against really almost any other Division II facility in the country. But I think the thing that really I feel great about, and the thing that I get a lot of feedback on, is just the people in the program, the people in the university, of course, but of course the people in the program that they are around that weekend, the players, and of course their products of what we do, but also the coaches, and how genuine they are, and how organized, and how much of an understanding that we have with the vision of what UNCP wants to be, in the sense of being a premier program in Division II. And so really felt a lot of good feedback from those guys on the people, the culture, and the genuine feel of the coaching staff and the players.
The last question, then I'll let you go. Obviously, this is a many moons process. What are your plans now that recruiting season's over, or at least until next year? But what are your plans now, at least from both a personal and a professional standpoint?
Well, we're going to go into more of a developmental phase as far as getting the guys in spring ball ready, and focus on our players that are in the program right now. We're going to be working out 5 days a week, and so really want to try to focus on pushing those guys hard and making sure that they're doing everything they can to head into spring ball to be in the best shape that they can be, and to develop some skills and techniques and fundamentals of working into spring ball, number one. Of course, we got a couple new coaches on staff, and so that will be a critical time here the next 4 or 5 weeks, that we're able to connect with those guys and really develop those relationships and be ingrained in the system and the program of what we're going to do once we get there out there on the field. And so that'll be really exciting. From a personal standpoint, I've got to re-recruit my wife and my family, and It'll be fun though. This really ends a period of a lot of long hours, late nights, and a lot of grueling effort on our part as a coaching staff. And then once signing day comes, there is a little bit of a time where you can step back and kind of reevaluate and make sure that things are in balance. And so I'm really looking forward to that. And we all need that as a program too, to make sure that we're staying fresh and just balanced with life in general. So I would like to talk one more thing about the receivers. I actually kind of skipped over them when you asked about them. But the two receivers that we signed, Trey Hales and Vincent Siders, they're going to be two of the most explosive players that we've seen in a long time here at UNCP. Trey Hales is going to be a big, tall, long receiver that can be a vertical threat, and he's a guy that we feel is going to be one of the highlights of the class. Vincent Siders played quarterback in high school. We did try him out as a wide receiver when he got here, and will fit in very, very well. He's going to be a guy who's going to be very, very explosive and shifty, and he's going to have a lot of really good breakaway speed. And those two guys right there will have an opportunity to come in here and really push that wide receiver group, and really, really excited about those two young guys.
And Coach, want to give you the chance. I know we sort of skipped over it, not meaning to, but let's talk about your running backs. Obviously, DeMonte Rim and Josh Sheridan from Lumberton.
Absolutely. Those guys bring great depth. DeMonte Rim has an opportunity to come in and really be an all-around complete back for us. Very excited about what we saw on film from him, and then of course when he came on his visit, he was very dynamic. And so big, strong, powerful, explosive, fast, can cut. I mean, he's a guy that we're looking at to be able to come in and really be a force to be reckoned with. Josh Sheridan, extremely excited about him as well. Local guy, we've been on him. I recruited him personally myself, and so I've been on him for a while now, and so looking forward to just seeing what he can do to come in and really compete. He brings a little different dynamic and element, probably has a little bit more shift, and is able to really press the first and second levels and be able to really gain some great yards for us there. And then of course you got Quadron Williams from Scotland County, and so he's going to be a little bit more of a smaller guy that is going to be speedy though. And so all three of those guys are going to be different dynamics. So very, very excited about what they can bring to the table of those running backs.